Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Straight Talk on 106.9 The XFM. We're talking on radio, but we're going to be talking about film. We're talking about a new indie movie that's been shot in London and area called Terry's Car Gets Stolen. We have the director-producer with us here today. We also have one of the actors here with us today. And in case you think that nothing exciting ever happens in London, it just did. So we're going to, first of all, meet the director and producer of Terry's Car Got Stolen. And that's Daniel Turres. And welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
So where is your background come from movie making?
My background from movie making was actually just school, really. I started off in elementary school thinking I wanted to do movie making then, and ever since then I just got into making short films all of my life, really. And now this is my first feature film.
And what school can we blame?
We can actually say H.B. Beale.
There you go.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of work with H.B. Beale television department over the years. And now you have this movie. How did the script idea come to you?
The script came from a friend I made at a job. I used to work at a bakery, and my friend was always into writing, and he had so many different ideas for short films and feature films that he showed me a lot of his scripts. But my favorite script was Terry's Car Gets Stolen, but it wasn't even finished when I read it. And I said, you got to finish it, because it was only like 8 pages, and he said, you got to finish it because we're going to make it. And he was like, okay. So he started like writing the rest of it real quick, working off by all the new characters he was meeting. He just wrote them into the screenplay.
Well, let's give him a shout-out. Who are we talking about?
It's his name is James Roberts. He's a local musician here in London, too.
And a scriptwriter.
And a screenwriter, yeah. He loves that.
Good. All right, and it's time to bring aboard our actor, who is playing Porno Paul in the film, Terry's Car Gets Stolen. Also a Canadian martial arts champion. And welcome to the show, Kyle Englehart.
Thank you very much.
And Kyle, did the fact that you are a martial arts champion have anything to do with your role?
In funny ways, it does. Just as taking on the character and really getting into the zone, I think it helped a lot. I don't think if I had the martial arts background, it'd be very hard to capture that character, but it helped quite a bit.
And who is Porno Paul, and why is he called Porno Paul?
Porno Paul is the co-main character in Terry's Car Gets Stolen. He is an ex-porn star that has some camera issues.
He can't perform.
He can't perform. He's got a camera shy issue, I guess. But he's one of those guys. He just wants to be everybody's best friend, and he's really good-hearted. But every time he tries to help someone out, he makes it even worse. So he's one of those friends that, you know, your mom would have told you, I don't like you hanging around with that guy, even though he is a really nice guy.
And since the movie is called Terry's Car Gets Stolen, presumably there's a car in it and it gets stolen.
Yes, there is.
Yes. Okay,
any particular kind of car?
Yeah, it's actually... we were trying to find the car that we can use, and our cinematographer, Andrew Harris, gave us his car, and it's a Honda Accord 2000. Do you know that?
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah,
2008. Like
it's nothing fancy. It's just a car.
Works well.
Okay, so is this the Canadian version of Dude, Where's My Car?
I don't think so.
I actually, as maybe the title may seem that way, but honestly, I think people are going to take a look at the movie at first and think they know what's happening, but there's a big spin in the middle where people don't know where it's going to happen, and I think that's really going to take us apart from that movie. Yeah.
So you've shot all the principal photography?
Yep, we just finished our last day of shooting on Sunday. Sunday. So everything's been shot and done. Now it's getting ready and processed into post-production.
So you did it mostly in August?
Majority of it in August, yes. But we spent about 2 months beforehand of rehearsals, gathering production materials, and just working and fleshing out the script to make sure everything works ready for August.
All in London locations?
Everything here in London, Ontario. Actually, we've gone to places like Norma Jean's, Prince Albert's, and a lot of areas downtown, obviously due to the colorful locations around there. And I think what was the other location here in London? Actually, a lot of locations here in London, we actually improvise on a place, like my own home, to make into a set, which is really amazing too. We did a lot of things like that.
I'm also wondering, when you say you're making a movie, in the bygone days, they were made on celluloid. What do you use?
Well, unfortunately, film is still very, very expensive. So what we used was a Nikon D800. It's a SLR camera that got everything on digital. So we worked digitally.
And so how will this translate as far as showing on a screen? Will it look like television? Will it look like a soap opera? Will it look like a movie?
It will look like a movie. We worked our hardest time to figure out all the how to make it cinematic in a movie way. I've studied how to do composition and film techniques through equipment and the camera itself to make it look like a movie, because it is a movie. It's a feature film length. It's the biggest project I've made. It's going to be approximately about an hour and a half so far from the script and what we've shot. Actually, I just did a count of how many hours we have worth of film, and it's come up over 2,000 hours. Yeah,
a lot of work was put into it.
It's almost actually 2,300. So I did it.
How long are you planning to spend in the edit booth?
Well, the editing booth, I'm just got accepted into Toronto Film School, so I'm going there too. So I put about three months to put into editing, which will go to a rough cut, and then through a second what's it called? A second approval through this last editing part, and then the final revision of the editing. So I'm hoping about 3 months to get it fully edited, and then to get it processed onto either film or
Is
digital.
this going to be a school project for you then?
No, actually, it's not really attached to school or anything. This is completely on my own. This is I completely through my own production, my own team, my own group of friends and family. New acquaintances, relationships are built around this movie, which is amazing. No, this movie is completely off from school areas. It's just completely on its own. And we're hoping to get this released by early 2014 and actually have a private screening here in London and Toronto.
We were actually really lucky with the amount of talent we got through just Kijiji and knowing friends and stuff like that. Like, just I mentioned a few of them, like Terry as Matthew Winquest and Thomas Vickers, Heather May. Just the list goes on, but it was just unbelievable the amount of talent we found in our home of London, Ontario.
And are these all volunteers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody's volunteered. No one's got paid throughout the whole thing. We've all just been putting all of our efforts and talents to make something happen.
Now, the Blair Witch Project was filmed on the cheap and made millions and millions of dollars.
Yes.
Exactly.
So if you make some money, does that mean some of the actors might see something at the end of the day?
Well,
let's hope so.
Yeah, that's all our hope. Yeah, we hope so. That's going to happen. We've all put so much into it, so we're all invested and hope that in the end something will come out, either financially or just like a big name for us. London, Ontario's made a hilarious comedy, really.
My next question was actually going to be, what is it? Is it a drama? Is it a comedy?
I'd be honest, I started filming it as a comedy, but it quickly turned into a dark comedy.
Yeah, very quickly turned into a dark comedy.
Yeah, I read the script. I was so because I was also the producer, that I had to not only think about a director's point of view, but take a look at the script and get ready to shoot it. But when I started filming it, I realized really quickly, this isn't just one of your lighthearted comedies. This turns into quite the dark, twisted comedy that I think a lot of our age group will enjoy.
I'm also wondering how much of it took on a life of its own. Of course, you had to start with a script.
Yeah.
How much did you veer from the script as you went into it?
Oh, well, actually, the script itself is just a great example of that. A lot of the characters that are written in there are based off the people we had in actor-wise. Like, there was a character named Hiab, and his name in the movie is called Hiab Jesus, but the actor's real name, because we based the character off him, is named Hiab Jaesis. So a lot of the script itself is based off the surrounding life that we have about the characters and people we already have that's making the script work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of experiences did you have making this film?
I've had experiences just by I've always looked up. I was the guy that looked up bonus features on DVDs. I went to school for a bit of the film class at HBBL, but a lot of times it's just learning on your own. I grabbed a camera. I went off. I learned my mistakes. I learned what needs to be done. Even during this project, I learned that you can't always get the shots you want. So a lot of my experience too is I made a short film just before this movie that got released at Rainbow, and that's how I met Kyle. We both did this short film. I met him through Kijiji, and we just did it within a month. Made an amazing short film. We got a huge following.
What was it called?
Gestures. It's it was a short drama action actually, because I wasn't expecting such a great action hero from this guy, but he came in and he brought in the martial arts. It's the movie was about the short was about an artist who was following martial art fighters Really, that's what it was. All it was. Just had some interesting camera work, and it was my first time to ever film and edit something.
And you showed that at the Rainbow?
Yeah, at the Rainbow.
Was it part of a film festival or something?
Nope. This was completely on its own. It was just there, and people came and donated and actually really enjoyed what they saw. And it also was able to a little bit of promotion for Terry's Car Gets Stolen, because Terry was just in the pre-production at the time that my short film came out.
And how long was the short film?
The short film was supposed to be 10 minutes,
but it came out 22.
22 minutes instead. I didn't expect how much of the shot I left in there, because his fighting experience was just amazing.
Well, we had like chemistry right off the bat. We knew both what we wanted to do, and we just, no questions were really asked. We just showed up. We showed up to work, and we got her done. It was an amazing experience, and now the fact that we get to carry it onto a full feature is just, I don't think you can really ask for more.
Yeah.
And tell me about the action in
Terry's car.
Terry's car gets stolen. You've got a martial artist in here.
Yeah.
Or do you get some action scenes?
I do actually have some action scenes. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, because I want everyone to come and watch the film. But I think they'll be pleasantly surprised about the action scene. It has really different elements of martial arts that I've never even used before. So it'll be exciting.
We tried a new look around it.
Yeah, definitely a new look.
All right, and we've had Heather May on this show before.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly the cutest person on the planet.
It's just amazing.
And
She's great.
what does she do in the movie?
Well, she's a theater actor, and I knew her from another feature film, and she told me before that she wasn't doing any feature film, or any more films. Sorry. Is everything good?
You're
okay.
good.
So anyway, she said she wouldn't do any film, but then she saw how hard we worked on this movie, and she really wanted to be a part of it. And she brought such an amazing energy on set that she took on the characters and the script line just like instantly, even though sometimes she even got the lines just a few days or hours before she came on camera. It was just amazing to see how professional and fun she is to be with on set.
And what's the difference between acting and theater? Because I'm sure a lot of the people you have, including Heather, are theater actors.
Yeah.
What's the difference between acting for theater and acting for the camera?
Well, probably I know a lot of theater actors. I even did a little bit of theater myself. It probably is just the fact that you have to tone yourself down. Because on theater, you got to make sure everyone in the audience feels and sees your expression. But the camera's right up in your face, and I think we'll get all the expression you need. It's, I think, the only difference between theater, in my opinion, theater and film is just toning yourself down to be a little more realistic on camera. Really.
Agreed.
Now, I understand, too, that there's an organization of filmmakers in London that meet once a month. Do you know anything about that organization?
No, actually, this is the first time I've heard of that. A lot of the times I just make my own groups with people, and they just come on. And we're like,
We've had incredible support from everyone in London, like just the Metro, the Londoner, one of
Latino magazines.
Yeah,
too.
great support. And even the few people that see us on the street and just give us the, good job, guys, keep doing what you're doing. Like, it means a lot, and we can't do anything without those guys. The support is very important, and that actually turns us on to the Indiegogo campaign, which I'll let Daniel talk about a little more of that.
Is that how you financed your project?
That's how we're raising money for it. No, a lot of the finances came out of our own pockets. A lot of the time, I worked really hard to put money aside to make something big, and I didn't expect I'd be making something big so soon. It's just that the opportunity fell right in my hands, and there was just no way I could say no. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that, I just had to say, you know what, this is an investment for my future. This is an investment for our future. We just got to make this happen. So a lot of the money just came in from our own pockets just to make it. So the Indiegogo is just there to help us have a fallback, because it's going to help us if Indiegogo succeeds, which has been for a few days now, to get the money back to like really help post-production.
Now, is it true that people who donate some money, they get their names in the credits?
Yes, that's true. So there's a $5. If you pay $5 on the Indiegogo, you get your name on the credits, which is nice because we like to thank our supporters. Thank you so much for putting us out there. But there's also different perks too. Like there's T-shirts, graphic novels, Blu-ray copies. There's even a custom song by James Roberts, like the screenwriter, who will make a funny song about your name and what you had stolen. So we've had it's going around. Terry's car gets stolen. For example, my thing was Daniel's underwear got stolen, and so on and so forth. But he'll make a funny song about it, and you get a funny T-shirt too about your thing gets stolen.
Well, that's great. And I just happen to have my wallet here, and I'd like to support local projects. I've been in quite a few local productions.
Fantastic. I really wish you were in this one.
Yeah, well, the next one.
For sure.
Most definitely.
The sequel.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's $5.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
My name is Billpaul. Okay? So there we go. And that's as easy as you need to do it, folks.
Yeah.
You can be in the credits. I'm supporting local film.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Now, I just wanted to comment on your T-shirt, Mr. Producer Director, because it says "Save Endor, Stop Genocide of the Forest Moon," referring to George Lucas's great production.
Yes.
Now, I've met George Lucas.
Oh, really?
You look a little bit like a young George Lucas.
That's a huge compliment. Oh, man.
And I'm wondering if you'd like to follow in his footsteps.
Man, he is probably, obviously, any filmmaker's inspiration. And if you were to even visit my studio and my home, there's Star Wars things all over the place. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. George Lucas himself, I've studied all of the behind the scenes of Star Wars, and just to see where he was standing to make his first big hit, he ended up he put all of his money and all of his love and all of his passion into the movie that he ended up just enough money to buy a burger to sit outside the own theater that his first movie is being shown. And to make it from there, it's inspirational.
Giving my background, I try to go to all the science fiction conventions I can go to. So I went to one, I guess it was early 80s, I'm not sure, World Science Fiction Convention in Anaheim, California. And we got to see the 3 Star Wars movies, 4, 5, and 6 at the time.
Wow.
Back to back to back, so 6 hours worth of
Yeah.
the original Star Wars.
It's like every night.
in a beautiful 2-story theater that's seated about 1,000 people. Each one of the 1,000 seats was an ultimate Star Wars fan that knew every word of every movie.
Yeah.
And so you heard all the dialogue twice on the screen and from the audience, and they'd throw in lines in between the other lines.
So great.
And we were allowed to bring in beer and pizza and whatnot and watch the film, which is the ideal way to watch a movie. And then after 6 hours, we got a little button that said, "I survived the trilogy."
Very nice.
Then the announcer came on stage and said, "We've got a special surprise for you. Will you like to stick around for a second?" And out walks George Lucas.
Wow.
He walks onto the stage, and he sits on the edge of the stage with a microphone. He said, "How'd you like my little movies?" And he got
My little movies.
He got a huge roar from the audience, and then he said, "Well, I got 45 minutes to spare. Let's do some question and answer." And that's what 45 minutes worth of question and answer after the movies. So it was a great experience. So you'll be able to do that after your movies.
Of course, yeah. Well, it was great to do it, actually, my first short film where I was able to talk and then meet everybody to see what the reaction of the movie is. So when I premiere the movie, I'm going to be there for every single premiere here in London and Toronto and hopefully other places around Canada. And to get, so most important to me things keep down to earth, talk to your local community, and get the feedback and see how everyone enjoyed the movie in the end.
A movie production in London seems to go in waves too, because just recently we've had lots of headlines about independent productions being shot here in London, and I'm not sure which production it was that closed Highbury and had the multi-car pile-up on there.
Yes, I did hear about that. I can't recall the name of it, but I do remember that happening.
Me too.
So London is taking a big step in the arts department, which is awesome. Like we can't say enough.
And there
of
are
that.
some projects that are commercial that we don't even hear about. They just happen, and they say, "Oh yeah, that was shot in London." It was.
Yeah, no doubt.
When?
Where was I?
And so there are lots of things going on behind the scenes. There have been some TV series that have been shot in London. And way back when, there was a huge amount of production being done in Toronto, and I'm talking about the 80s now. And a lot of the spillover came to Hamilton and London. I was in a film called The Last Great Vaudeville Show, and it had Donald O'Connor and Debbie Reynolds in it, which is 2/3 of the cast of Singin' in the Rain, right there, the greatest musical ever made.
Wow.
And they were right here at the Grand Theater, and they used the Grand Theater because of the proscenium arch that made it look like the 1920s theaters. So I was in that, in the orchestra for that one. And no, I don't play an instrument, but but I did for the movie. And the movie, and it had Charlie Callis and all kinds of other great actors right here in London. And the other one I was in was ABC Movie of the Week called Hearst and Davies: A Love Affair. William Randolph Hearst and Marianne Davies, and that was. It'll come to me, but it was. I got to be for 2 seconds. I was Virginia Madsen's boyfriend in that.
That's exciting.
And she was stolen away from me by the guy who played William Randolph Hearst, and that was a wonderful shoot as well. But I noticed that they got, I don't know, 600 extras for it from London. Yeah. But as the evening wore on, and they kept having to retake, the extras kept leaving to go home because their families needed them, and their babysitters were going home. And they were just telling everybody, phone the babysitters, tell them you're going to be late, phone your friends, get them down here.
Forget the kids.
All of a sudden, they weren't so choosy about the haircuts. 5 o'clock in the morning, they were very choosy about haircuts and the clothing. And by 2 in the morning, they were just saying, now everybody just switch clothes and it'll look like a bigger audience.
Put your hair down.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I can totally believe that.
Yeah, it was. So London has had these waves of film, and now you're in the next wave.
Yeah. It was really neat when I just started it. I had no idea about the thing happening on set, but in London, and just to hear that all this stuff is happening here, it just seems like a great time.
Mm-hmm. It's a great time to be in showbiz.
Yeah.
And to be in film. And we also want you to tell us a little bit about where we can look for your projects, where we can look for samples of your work.
Okay. Well, you can follow us on our Facebook page, which is very simple, Terry's Car Gets Stolen. And we also have a Twitter account, which will lead you right from Facebook. We have a YouTube channel, too, also called Terry's Car Gets Stolen. It's very simple. It's the movie title for everything for YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And we also have the Indiegogo page, which is where you'll be able to see the details of where the money is going to and what you can get in return as being a great supporter, like signed DVDs, signed T-shirts, and signed posters. Actually, it was pretty sweet too. So you can find us through that.
And how much is a signed T-shirt?
A signed T-shirt comes with the graphic novel and a signed poster. We put everything in packages.
There's a graphic novel?
There's a graphic novel being made too by the artist Danielle Dara.
There's a lot of goodies actually that we have.
Yeah,
so.
It's in the making. It's pretty sweet. So a lot of it comes in packages. So right now we only sell the T-shirt within the package of the $80 with the graphic novel, poster, DVD, and Blu-rays. But later on we will be selling the T-shirts and stuff individually when we come to that time.
Well, that's wonderful marketing.
Thank you.
And is there? Do you have a local headquarters?
My local headquarters, yes.
We do.
Yeah, we do. Technically, yeah. It's my office space at home.
Okay.
Which is actually we can. Gestures most of the fight scene. It looks like a big dark kind of warehouse, and it's a big fight scene that happens, but it's all shot in Daniel's basement with some
camera tricks
and stuff, and I can't say enough about his parents and how they've taken on this film life just in like that.
My parents have been
completely turned over their house.
You were treating your parents like Tom Green treated his parents. I don't know if you're familiar with Tom Green. He started out doing a cable show in Ottawa, and he did terrible things to his parents. He painted their car without telling them. He painted their house without telling them.
That was back when I was younger, too. When the house, I'd paint a wall, and people were like, Mom, I'm sorry. That was for a movie. And nowadays, no, they've been completely so helpful that they've just been... Practically, I think my mom and dad, either both at the same time or separate, have been on set every single day just to help me and be supportive.
Just amazing people, great people to know, and just they've done everything and anything they could for us.
Yeah, I've even had a remark from my cast members just saying they don't know who other parents would ever do this, who would ever just take time off their day just to come out with me and take me to these locations and help me film and give me ideas and be supportive.
Also help the actors.
Help the actors too,
with water, with anything.
Really
they
take care of you guys more than they took care of me.
They do. They took really good care of us.
I'm wondering also about the things that you did for this film.
Yep.
Would they have been possible 20 years ago with the technology we had then, or has technology helped you?
It's a very good question, and I actually think of that a lot myself. I actually think like if I was back in 20 years ago and I was trying to, and I just had the knowledge now, I think I would still be able to make something happen with the minimal budget too back then. But the only difference is it would be film rather than digital. So I think personally, no age difference. As long as you really put your heart into it and you really have the vision for it, you can make it with whatever budget you got.
And do you have some final information for our audience today? Any contact information or any requests from the audience?
Well, please look us up on Twitter, look us up on Facebook. If you see us and you recognize us in the street, please feel free to come up and say hi. We more than happy to talk to anyone about the film. And just to everyone out there so far for their support, we couldn't do it without you. And hopefully it keeps coming.
And Kyle promises not to punch out any paparazzi.
I do. I'm not physical when you meet me, I swear.
He's a lovable guy.
I am a lovable guy.
All right. Well, the movie is called Terry's Car Gets Stolen. It's going to be about an hour and a half, and you are going to present it in Rainbow Cinema. So when it's ready.
It will be presented. That was for my short film. This will be presented in a larger scale.
Very good. Well, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And movies rock on. I'm Bill Paul for Straight Talk. Come on back next week.